This episode of Unexplained Arkansas is sponsored by King Yodeler Tattoos. King Yodeler specializes in black and gray, color realism art, and custom hand-drawn tattoos. King Yodeler believes tattoos can be as unique as the lives we live. Consultations are free. To book your consultation or to discuss your tattoo ideas and wants, you can go to www.kingyodeler.com or email Jody at kingyodelertattoos@gmail.com. All of King Yodeler's contact information will be supplied in our show notes and will be posted on your social medias. So you can go find King Yodeler on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Go follow and like them. You can call to set up appointments or check on availability for walking in, and their phone number is 479-530-7418. Go check out their amazing work. Thanks.
Hello, and welcome to Unexplained Arkansas. This is Amber.
And this is Lisa.
And this is the third episode of our trilogy on the Crescent Hotel in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. We have had a great time doing these episodes, and this is the final one for now. We may revisit this story again in the future. But to kind of end things, we wanted to do one more episode about the hotel and some of the experiences that we actually got to have last weekend.
Mm-hmm. And pizza.
And pizza, yes, we did get to have pizza. We went to the Crescent Hotel last Saturday, and we got to stay the night. We were on the second floor, which is where the infamous room 218 is. And those of you that pay attention to Eureka Springs lore, the room 218 is where Michael, the very famous ghost, supposedly resides. And we'll talk a little bit about our experience with that and getting to see inside that room. We also did a ghost tour, and that was so much fun. And it was even better than the last tour I took there several years ago.
Yeah. I had pink eye when I took the tour.
Last week? Oh, I was going to say, you didn't have it last week.
No. I think I took the tour around 2011, 2012, and I had pink eye.
I honestly don't think I've had the tour since college. So mine was a long time ago. So it's a lot better than it was 20 years ago. Yeah. Not to say my age, but yeah, I was in college 20 years ago.
She's 30. Everybody.
Yes. Okay, so we are going to very quickly talk about why we were there and our accommodations at the hotel, and then we'll go into some of the stories we've collected. And I think that this is probably one of my favorite things we've done with this podcast, and I'm really sad that we only got to stay a couple of days. I mean, I was like living my best life at Eureka. I loved it. Not just the hotel, but the whole town. I love it there.
Eureka is beautiful. I mean, I loved it, but I have to say, I don't know. I mean, I love Eureka, but I think my favorite for us was either the Hornibrook or the Arlington.
Oh,
I don't know. But all of it has had wonderful pizza involved.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. We do tend to find a pizza place wherever we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to start out with your cat stories. Lisa's been talking about these cat stories all week, and which is, I think it's hilarious because I'm the one with cats. I'm the one that loves cats and collects cat memorabilia, but she wanted to do the stories on the cats. So what have you got?
Okay, so basically, like Amber mentioned, and really we're going to go back in time. So we kind of are really back the whole way, but not really the whole way. So little bit of a tidbit, and a lot of you would know because the cat is pretty infamous here. So and super interesting, and it makes the Crescent very I don't know, just different and unique to me because of the whole cat situation. So from the beginning, allegedly, the Crescent has had feline friends living in the hotel, and according to their website, it's really been since the beginning when they opened in 1886, and again, allegedly. So, however, the first record of, having a hotel cat actually began in 1973. And at this time, the hotel was owned by Dr. and Mrs. Sam Curry and Mr. and Mrs. Robert Fagans. They had acquired the hotel, and like Amber mentioned before I just hit this mic, sorry. So this was also kind of the time frame when people were having like the start of the supernatural experiences, like guests were starting to talk about this in the 70s. So the cats and the supernatural are going hand in hand.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people do say that. I mean, what is it they call cats a lot of the time? A familiar or whatever. I mean, cats and the supernatural, it's like peanut butter and jelly. I mean, that's not why I have cats. I have cats because they're easy to maintain. And, I mean, we just live in harmony together, cats and I. I'm not a dog person. I had Annie, my dog, for a long time, but I don't think I'm going to get another one. So, yeah.
Well, I'm allergic to cats, actually, but I do like them. My dad and my stepmom have always had a cat. So I've been around them a lot. In fact, I had a really bad relationship with a cat named Sassy. That's for another day. But yeah. So the supernatural, the paranormal, and the cats. All the 1970s. That sounds about right. The hotel cat that was first recorded was an orange tabby cat named Morris.
And like the commercial. Do you remember Morris the cat?
No.
How do you not remember Morris the cat?
What are you talking about? Commercial?
There was a cat commercial, food commercial, and the cat on the cat food commercial, his name was Morris, and I think he was orange.
Oh. Well, maybe, was it an old commercial?
Yeah, from when we were like little bitty, like early 80s. I'm going to look up Morris the cat while you're talking.
Okay, this is okay. That's so funny. Well, Morris lived at the Crescent for 21 years. Oh, it is orange. And it's wearing a bow tie.
Mm-hmm. I wish my cats would wear bow ties.
You need to, I'll buy your cats bow ties. Anyway. I like bow tie pasta. I don't know why I'm hungry. Anyway, I ate breakfast. So, Morris lived at the Crescent for 21 years, and Morris was such a fixture at the hotel that he was lovingly, and I think this is lovingly, or maybe it was sarcastic, but he was referred to as the general manager. Like everyone called him the general manager. So Morris was not just the hotel's cat, but the whole community's cat. Because the Crescent was, and kind of still is, currently the epicenter of most community functions there in Eureka. So people felt like Morris was theirs, like he was part of not just the Crescent, but Eureka as a whole. So they loved watching Morris go in and out of his specially made kitty door, which is located in the lobby, which is still there today. So that kitty door is still there today. They actually built it's so cute, like little stairs up to it on both sides, like inside and out.
Well, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, but when we were there, so it's funny. So we'll get into this, but there are currently 2 cats living at the Crescent, and we'll go into that. Are your cats? You raised your hand.
Oh, yeah, because before you left the door situation, remember there was the other employee door?
Yeah.
There was another cat door on the employee door. So it was like employees. So it's people or cats.
Yeah. Well, and down, are you talking about in the basement?
Yeah. When we finished the ghost tour.
Okay, so, so down in the basement, there was, do you think that goes to their litter box down there?
I mean, it has to be somewhere. And if they're like me, I have like a closet room that is my litter box room because I can't stand all of that. So I keep it like where I don't have to look at it. So I bet you that's why. I bet they go through there to the litter box if they use it, because if they're in and out, they may use it outside. Use the bathroom outside.
And that is literally, and it's down in the spa area. So if you go down to the basement / spa area. But yes, so I noticed this weekend that, because anywho, the cats were kind of in and out, but they love to use the door. They want the door to be held, the main doors. They don't use their kitty door. They want you to open the door for them. So they've gotten accustomed to that. So the kitty door is there. It's adorable, but it's not what they use. So
they only use that in a pinch.
Yeah, they probably do that if everybody's asleep, I guess, and nobody's coming in and out. But they want doormen, so I can't blame them.
The one that was watching us play chess on the back porch, he didn't seem like he was very impressed with us at all. He just kind of he watched us a little bit, and then he was like, "Yeah, y'all bore me." So.
That's pretty much a cat's way, though. Or anybody. I guess we. Okay, so Morris, again, so beloved that when he passed away, it said that 300 people attended his funeral. Yes.
That's more than most human beings.
I know. That's insane. Today, visitors can step outside to the east lawn, which is the back of the hotel, and you can actually visit his headstone. And we did. So
that was pretty cool. And we
cool.
have photos of it. And I'm going to make a cat post this weekend with just the cat photos, I think. Because I took so many.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to wait till we post this Monday?
Yeah. I mean, I can.
Yeah. Post it Monday. She'll post with the episode. Yeah. So that'll be cool. Because they won't have it. Yeah. No. We'll look at that. What line are we at? I'll edit that out. Okay. So, anywho... Okay, okay, so the 300 people attended his, farewell ceremony. So today you can visit the headstone. So also in the lobby, there's a picture of Morris and a poem. And that's displayed in the main lobby across from the beautiful fireplace. And Amber, I believe, has already posted that. So go back and look at that, too.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you want me to read the poem?
Oh, I was going to, yeah.
Oh, you have it. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, do you want to read it?
No, it's okay.
Okay, so the poem is pretty short, but the poem does go, in memory of Morris, the resident cat at the Crescent Hotel. Next page. He filled his position exceedingly well. The general manager title he wore was printed right there on his own office door. Oh, and it rhymes. He acted as greeter and sometimes as guide. Whatever his duties, he did them with pride. He chose his own hours and set his own pace, like you. And then the guests were impressed with his manners and grace. Upstairs and down, he kept everything nice. They might have had ghosts, but they never had mice. Oh, that is so cute. And it really does it. I could not find who wrote this poem, and I don't think it said. Maybe it said on the poem. I don't know.
I don't think so, but there's no telling.
Yeah.
But that's cute.
That is so cute. So yeah, and he lived for 21 years, and of course he made his appearance in the 70s. So, interesting. So, the Roenics, which are the current owners of the Crescent, and we mentioned them a little bit in episode 2. So they, upon purchasing in 1997, so they wanted to kind of keep the cat-like tradition. And they were big animal lovers themselves, and so they wanted the hotel to kind of have this legacy of being pet-friendly. And I will say, it is interesting to me because most hotels don't allow pets, but yeah, there was this weekend when we were there was like remember that it was like a, what do you call those, a German Shepherd. Remember the German Shepherd? So they, some guests brought a German Shepherd. There was some cute corgis. So every time I've gone to the Crescent, there's always been cute dogs. I've never brought my dog. Paris does not travel well, and she hates other dogs. She hates cats. So
yeah. Well, one thing that I will say about the trip is that it was the whole hotel, the whole thing was very, very welcoming. I felt like that the owners have gone out of their way to make anyone who stays there feel like they're on an adventure, feel like they're welcome. I mean, it's just, it has a great vibe, and not just the ghosty vibes, but just, there was always things posted, like things to do, like you can do a ghost or a walking hike or a ghost tour, or, it just seemed like it wasn't just a place to stay and go to the next place. It was really just, like an all-inclusive is what it felt like. I mean, you can go to the spa, you can hear music, down in the backyard. There was just so many things. And then the Sky Bar, of course, was just rocking and rolling. That was That was a lot. I mean, I didn't realize how popular that was. But we really had a good time, and I think we checked out just about everything that the hotel had to offer. We did not get to swim, which was sad, and we didn't get to use the hot tub, but there's always next time.
Yeah. And there was a lot of people in that hot tub.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about a hot tub.
I'll tell you how I feel about a hot tub. 2 and 3 is a crowd, so I like to be in there by myself.
I know. Well, they do have. So I did know. Did you notice? They had that hot tub kind of to the side. So there was another hot tub. Evidently, you can use if you're part of the spa package.
Oh.
And that one was even bigger and better.
Yeah, that one was nice.
Yeah.
The one that we saw or the morning after we stayed there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you're going to the Crescent, I'm sure you can just pay for like a hot tub package.
Is that what it's called? Is that the technical name for it? Can I have the hot tub package?
I think so. And isn't it a time machine, or is that a whole other thing?
Oh my gosh! I wouldn't want to go back in time there. To certain time periods.
That's so funny. Okay, so in the late 90s, when the Roneks kind of were continuing this legacy, so they brought in, or really, the cat found it as a feral cat. So it was a brown Siamese mix. Feral cat showed up, and they named him Tittles. Tittles.
Yeah.
And Tittles stayed at the Crescent for a couple of years, and it says that he touched the hearts of thousands in that time period.
Oh, poor Tittles. It doesn't sound like things are going to go his way.
It doesn't. So after Tittles passed away...
It doesn't tell you what happened to Tittles?
It does not. I don't know if it
Does Tittles have a grave out the back we missed?
Tittles does not. Only Morris.
I was wondering. Yeah, I'm sitting here going, do they have like a whole pet cemetery back there behind the Crescent? That would be interesting.
That would be interesting. If they do, they have it well hidden. So after Tittles passed away, so Marty Ronek purchased a white cat that proved to not be very socially equipped for hotel living. Okay, so
and I can tell you why, because I went to the vet one time with my white white cat I had like 20 years ago, and he told me, he said, this cat's never going to be a people cat. He said, I hate to say this, but she has the blue eyes, and she's very light. Her fur is very light, and she's probably not going to be the most friendly cat. And he was right. Now,
That's like Mabel.
Well, she's awful. I mean,
that's her new cat.
No. Mabel's. I've had Mabel. No, that's Parker. Parker is my
Parker's new, but Mabel's.
I've had Mabel a year. I've had Parker a couple months, but Parker is so sweet. And I kept telling Mom, he's white with blue eyes. He's probably going to be mean. She goes, oh no, he's too sweet to be mean. So we'll see. The jury's still out. But somebody once told me that the light eyes that a cat has and the light fur, sometimes they can be a little bit snippier than the ones that look different than that.
Well, and maybe it was because she's a she and Parker's a he.
And that might be it too. Parker is just a lovey. I mean, he loves to snuggle. He sleeps.
He's cute. I would snuggle with him if I could endure it.
Well, I will tell you the truth. He slept in my bed, not on, like, how Mabel sleep at the foot of my bed. He was under the covers. Oh, wow. Yeah, sleeping right by my feet all night.
Deep.
He was deep in there. I thought he had smothered himself, but he hadn't.
That's how Paris sleeps.
Yeah.
That's awesome. People, I know you've enjoyed that. So tell us about your pets. Well, we do love pets. Okay.
So what happened to Tittles?
Okay. So, it doesn't really say what happened.
Wait, Tittles wasn't the white cat. What was
Tittles? No, so what happened? So Marty got the white cat. And Spook.
Spook. Okay.
So Spook was what they called the white cat, and he ended up being adopted out. Aww. He did not work out.
Well, and sometimes they don't. So we've had that situation happen before too. I mean, sometimes it's just not the right fit, for a family or for a hotel
family. Well, they figured out that feral cats seem to work best. So because Spook was not feral. But a feral cat did show up. So 2 cats were kind of born, and they nursed them, and they had been abandoned in the boiler room. So they had found
abandoned in the boiler room?
Yes, like Freddy Krueger. No, I'm just kidding.
Did they name it Krueger Cat? They should have named it Krueger.
Oh, that you will like their names. So this was in 2003. So 2003 this happened. So their names were Frisco, like the railroad, and Shadow. So these two played very important parts, and they said that they played them very well. So Frisco was super sweet and loved to actually sleep with the guest. So, so
that's hilarious.
So you rent a room and you
get a cat?
Yes, you get a cat. And evidently, sometimes the guests, when they checked out, so sometimes they wouldn't let Frisco out of the room. So the housekeepers, when they came to clean up, they'd find Frisco trapped in the guest rooms.
Oh,
yes, I know. Well, he wanted to cuddle, and that's the price
I mean, it's his own fault.
I mean, it happened. So Frisco was also nicknamed the Ghost Chaser. And Frisco left the hotel in 2009. So it didn't say why, but I don't know if he just ran off as feral cats do. So it happens. So it didn't say why. So I'm thinking he just left. But Shadow was kind of a little bit opposite of Frisco. So Shadow was really shy, and she left in 2007. So actually before Frisco. She went to live somewhere else, less trafficked. So she did not like the hotel living, evidently. So, also in 2007, when Shadow left, another feral cat showed up named Rufus. I love these names. Rufus loved the camera. So, they are, they do weddings there. We'll kind of talk about that. But so there were many incidences where Rufus had to be escorted out of the wedding events and out of
Was he trying to stop the wedding?
I think he was. He's like, at that moment, he just raised his paw and goes, meow. Yeah. So he left actually right behind Frisco. So he was only there a couple years.
Where are all these cats? I'm sorry, I just have to ask. Because, I understand that, sometimes cats have to find new places to live, but dang, this is a lot.
This was a revolving door here.
Yeah, a revolving door of cats.
Revolving cat door. So literally, Rufus was out after Frisco. However, in 2009, so kind of at the same time as, them leaving, in walked on Halloween week, so that's a very big week at the Crescent, obviously. In strolled Casper and Jasper.
Okay.
Didn't
we meet Casper?
No.
Jasper?
We met Jasper.
So,
yes, so this was 2009, guys. So
Jasper's old.
So Jasper loved it. He loves the lobby. He's very comfortable. But Casper was a wanderer. So he just walked out of the hotel after a couple years.
It's like, I'm done with y'all, bye.
He said bye. Yes, and he left Jasper to tend to the hotel alone. So Jasper, of course, is still there. And before this weekend, my family, we went to spend Thanksgiving in 22 at the Crescent. So that was the last time I was there before this weekend. But, so Jasper's a pretty big deal. He's been there for a long time. All of the, they sell copies of pictures of him, or they have a stuffed cat that you can buy, and that's Jasper.
I wish I would have gotten one of those.
For Maxie?
Yeah, for Max.
So Jasper's beautiful. He is a black, mainly black with the white on him. When we went in 22, so he's 17 now, so he was looking his age, I felt like this time, but when I was there in 22, he was pretty active. He would sit at the little desk there in the lobby, like he was working it. He was like, "Hey guys, what you doing? Do you
want to know how old that is in human years? A 17-year-old cat.
How old?
84 years old.
He's 84. Yeah, he was looking 84 this weekend.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so Jasper's still there. He is old. So here's a little this is rounding this out, guys. So, Ozzy, there is a new cat that
I liked the new one.
Yeah. So Ozzy showed up about maybe 5 or 6 months ago. Evidently he just showed up. He's feral, but he's young. And Ozzy looks like Jasper, just a young Jasper. So he's the black with the white, so he fits the whole image, especially since I doubt they want to remarket all those stuffed cats. Anywho,
yeah,
but
that's a savvy business move right there. Just get a cat that looks like the merchandise.
Yes, and so they actually did a whole Facebook thing to name Ozzy. They did a contest to name Ozzy, and so Ozzy's name was chosen by the peoples.
Nice.
So yeah, but Ozzy is very cool. Now they do have a tracker, so they actually have a tracker collar on Ozzy, so
good.
He can't go too far. Evidently, he can't stroll off too far.
Like Jasper, or wait,
like
Casper.
Casper just walked out and was like, "Bye, guys." Probably like Frisco and Taco or whatever their names.
Frisco,
Rufus. but yeah, Ozzy has a tracker. He is doing really well, and it looked like he would try to walk out the front door, but all the doormen that work there, and we'll kind of talk about how precious they were. They would pick him up and remember they would put him on the pedestal. Yeah. I have a picture.
They loved working with those cats. I could tell
they do. I mean, these cats are treated like royalty, as they should be. And it's really cute how the cat. You know how cats are. They're everywhere. So they are on the front desk. They're everywhere. They're loving their life. So it's. I love that about the Crescent. And that rounds out the whole cat story.
That was a lot of cat talk.
That was a lot of
for
cat
someone
talk.
who doesn't like cats. That was a lot of cat talk.
I do like cat. Now I had a nefarious relationship with Sassy, which was my dad and stepmom's cat. Back in the day, I pulled her tail when I was 4.
Now she was still alive.
When
I went
Sassy.
there, when we were in high school. Right?
Oh yes,
okay. That's
Sassy
what I thought.
lived to be 30 or something.
As demons do. So,
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I have to ask my dad, but she lived to be 24. I think.
Yeah, my oldest cat lived to be. Let's see, we got her when I graduated from college in 2004, and she lived with my mom. She ended up living with my mom, and she lived until 2022. So
wow.
yeah, she lived for a long time too.
Cats can do that. So, but that's the whole cat thing. If you go, say hi to Ozzy and Jasper, and be careful with Jasper. He's old.
Yeah.
So,
Well, okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about the ghost tour now. Now, of course, we could go on and on about the beauty of the building, and I will tell you, if you've never seen the Crescent in person, the photos do not do it justice. Mm-mm. I mean, the stone masonry, the craftsmanship, the limestone, it is gorgeous. It always kind of takes my breath away every time I go and I see it for the first time in a while. And this time was absolutely no different. So I really think that, this time around I wasn't as into the ghost tours. I was just the architecture of the building and just everything it has to offer. It's something that you don't see a lot in Arkansas, because it really was. It was straight from Europe. This design. Yeah. So pretty. It was absolutely gorgeous. So if you're interested in all that, we did talk about that at length in episode 1, and the how it was built and by who and all that kind of stuff. But just being there that day just kind of made me just think, wow, this is an amazing piece of architecture, and I'm so glad that they saved it from being demolished. In what year was that?
And I guess when the Ronix.
Yeah, that
they were going to tear it down.
Yeah.
So
many years ago. Yeah. But so thank you for saving it, because it's a treasure. But as soon as I walked in the door, like I said, I really felt at ease, even though supposedly there's a bunch of ghosties. But I loved it. It was very family friendly. The staff was amazing. There was nobody with a little attitude, snarkiness, none of that. Everyone that worked there seemed like they were genuinely glad to be there, and I love to see that. So.
And what was interesting to me was they were young.
They were young, yes.
Young staff.
Or maybe we're just old.
I mean, they look like they were in their 20s.
Yeah. A lot of the staff seemed like they were in their 20s and just starting out, which is so cute. Yeah, and
to be happy
at work. So good job there. To have everybody, really doing a good job and being happy. So,
and shout out to Gavin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Gavin was our person that helped us get our stuff to the room and gave us a lot of information. So yeah. So we didn't do the ghost tour until 7 p.m. that night. And before we get into the ghost tour, let's talk a little bit about why we were there. Okay. So yes. you do that.
So we did. So we got invited by Frankie Brooks. And so I did post a picture with Frankie and his wife, Allison. So they do the night shift paranormal. So they do paranormal investigations, but they also put on this psychic development conference. And so they did invite us to partake, and that was so cool. So that actually started at 4:30. So we got into Eureka and we had an excellent lunch. Shout out to
Sparky's.
Yes, Sparky's. Amber had eaten there before and loved it, and it was so good. Oh gosh, it was so good. So then we just got to primp a little and check in and
look around.
Oh yeah, we looked around.
Yeah.
We went downtown. Amber lost a ring, found a ring. That was an adventure.
Yeah.
We had a little adventure before then. But yeah, so at 4:30 was when the conference started. And yeah, go look at our posts on Facebook and check out I did post their website. So if you are into psychic development and stuff, they talked about talked about how to intuition and the different types. I didn't know a lot.
Oh, I didn't know a lot of what they were talking about.
Yes.
I mean, I'm kind of a skeptic when it comes to things like that, but I really did find it very interesting, and I enjoyed being there. And he was so sweet. Frankie's a cool guy.
Yes.
Yeah. So we did that first. Yes. So our ghost tour didn't start until 7 because we weren't really there just for the ghost tour. We were there to be at that meeting first. So when we got to the ghost tour, we were fresh off this psychic development meeting.
We were.
So that's where I was going with all that. So we were fresh out of a psychic development meeting, fresh. Like we ran from that area to upstairs to where the tour starts. The tour, of course, runs all year long, and it is very popular with Arkansans, but also people from all over the place. I mean, this is kind of like our little Stanley, it's like our Stanley Hotel, not a Stanley Cup. My gosh, I'm tired of those.
I'm tired of those too. And people come, and it's not just for, guests, but a lot of people aren't even staying there.
Exactly. And I think that one of the 2 times I took the tour, I wasn't even staying there. So if you don't want to stay the night and you just want to take the tour, you can do that. You can get online and buy tickets, and basically all you do is go to the 4th floor, check in, and wait on your tour guide. And now they have everyone kind of congregate in the teacher's lounge, which I thought was really interesting.
And Amber likes a good teacher's lounge.
I do. Actually, nothing good happens in the teacher's lounge.
I do like a teacher's lounge.
They're interesting places. I always tell my students, nothing good ever comes out of the teacher's lounge. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Like a teacher.
No, like the worst ideas ever. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Just kidding, y'all. Just kidding. But we were in the teacher's lounge, or faculty lounge, actually is what it's called. And there's a lot of history in that room. And as we were waiting on the tour, I was noticing this humongous postcard on the wall. And eventually the tour guide, which I didn't get her name, and I feel bad now because she
was so good.
She was so good.
Yeah, she was, and they do dress in period.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't remember her name.
Yes, but
she was very good.
She did a great job. She was very thorough. But she told us about the story behind that postcard on the wall. And as we talked about in the first episode, the Crescent used to be a girls' school. And when it was a girls' school, do you remember the exact years?
Yeah, yes. So it started, I believe, in 1908, and then it ran completely out by 1934.
Okay, so during this time period, apparently, a few things remained, some photos, which I'm going to post a copy of some of my favorite photos from this time period, copies of some of my favorite photos from this time period, and this postcard.
We talked about the sailor costume that they had to wear.
They're
what do you call that? Their uniform.
Their uniform. Mm-hmm. Now, I liked those photos, but my favorite photos from that time period that were around the faculty lounge area, there was one of them all dressed in their May Day costumes.
Oh, yes.
It was very midsummer. Yeah. Now, I don't know. I don't know what happened, but it looked very midsummer. Mm-hmm. But then there is this other photo that I really felt a connection to, and they're all dressed in black, and they have like the black hats on, and they're all kind of walking up the stairs behind the building. So I snapped that too, and I thought, oh my gosh, I want a copy of this one. I'm going to put it in a frame. I loved it. So the other thing that I really was interested in was that postcard. And Lisa and I are going to read it verbatim. She may have to help me. We translated it pretty much.
We had to translate this.
Because so we can read cursive because we went to school in the 80s and 90s, so we can read it, but it was still very, very difficult because this
was very cursive-y.
This was very cursive.
And then you did, so she transcribed it into her own crazy cursive.
That's why I wanted you to help me so I don't mess this up. So the date on it is January 1928. So this is well into the time period of the girls' school. And it is addressed to a girl named Gracie Henderson from Cameron, Missouri. So if that's your granny, let us know.
If you know her.
Because we want to know how this ended.
And it says Miss, so that would have been her maiden name.
Yeah. So it was to a Miss Gracie Henderson in Cameron, Missouri. And it's dated January 1928. And it says, Nina's been busy and didn't have time to write. We would like very much for you to send the Ouija board if you can find it. Nina thinks it is somewhere in the storeroom. We are very anxious to hear from you about it. And then what was her name? Miriam.
Yes.
Miriam. Yes. Okay, so that's the postcard, and they've blown it up, and it's on the wall. So we didn't see the actual postcard. We saw the blow-up version of it. And so what happened? Did they get their Ouija board?
There's so many questions.
There's so many questions.
Ooh,
is that what started the whole thing? Was Miriam and Nina and their Ouija board?
And do you think that they conjured up Michael?
Yeah.
Because Michael would have been the first official death, per se. Or first.
Technically, yes.
Yeah. I mean, there could have been others, but he would have been,
So right out of the gate, we were like, wow. She tells us this postcard story, and I swear I have never heard that. I had never heard it before, and, I was like, oh my gosh, that's why. Because you know how we feel about Ouija boards. We're anti-using Ouija boards.
And tell them what's in the lobby.
Oh my gosh, okay, yes. Okay, so they're selling them in the lobby.
They have you can buy a paper version of this Ouija board for $13. By the way,
it's a cardstock version. I think they should probably laminate them. Yeah, but that's just, I'm a teacher. I want to laminate everything.
Let's go laminate everything.
Okay, so they are. She's right. They're $13 for this large piece of cardstock that has Crescent Hotel on it, and it's a Ouija board.
It's very cool looking.
It is cool looking, and if I wasn't so scared of Ouija boards, I would have bought one.
Yeah, we did not partake.
We did not partake. Yes, Mama, Paula K. We did not get we did not get a Ouija board. Yeah, but I looked at it and I thought about it real hard, but I didn't get one.
I'm really shocked you didn't.
Well, there's just some things that just absolute, and those scare me to death. Yeah. And we've only had that one experience, when we were in college with a homemade Ouija board.
It was not as cute.
No, and I don't think that one really worked. No.
Did it?
So we Yeah, true. So we started this tour off with Ouija board craziness. And of course, you do the fourth floor first, and we We didn't spend a whole lot of time on the 4th floor.
Mm-hmm.
We did. Was that where the honeymoon suite was? Because they thought
I think it was
that was third. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and talk about the 3rd floor because that's where all the action was. Well, I'm not talking about honeymoon, not that kind of action, but
different action. A lot of the 3rd floor had a lot of action, but so did the 2nd.
That's right. The 3rd and the 2nd. Yes, the 3rd floor and the 2nd floor apparently is where all the action is. Mm-hmm. So when we got on the 3rd floor, would you quit laughing at me?
We're laughing.
Oh my gosh. So the honeymoon suites, what they now use as the honeymoon suites, that used to be where the very sick people would be in Dr. Baker's time period. Like when he would have people come to the hotel, and they weren't getting any better because he was shooting them full of crap.
What did they say?
It was ground up
sulfuric acid,
pepper. It was a mess. What they said that he was giving these poor people. He
pinched them too.
I mean, it was, and they said, just like I did in episode 2, that this man was no doctor. The only person that called him doctor was himself and his weirdo followers. But the tour guide did say that they would put their sickest patients in this area, which are now the suites. Mm-hmm. And, according to the lore, people would be gurneyed out of there at night so that no one would see the dead bodies because these people would ultimately die. We know now that 40 people lost their lives during this 22 month time period, but they would gurney them out at night from the 3rd floor. And, she said that there is also a ghost of a nurse in that area named Theodora. Mm-hmm. And she provided a picture of Theodora. Mm-hmm. Now, I went to do some of my own sleuthing this week, and I could only find one ancestry record of a person named Theodora, because that's not a common name even back then. Mm-hmm. And this Theodora
sounds very like European.
Yeah, this Theodora was living in Eureka at the time, so it is plausible that it could have been her. However, I couldn't find any other information to really back that claim up. But, of course, they say that's who she was and what she did, so we'll just go with it. And apparently you can see her pushing a gurney down the hallway at night.
Yes, and allegedly, I think in that room 326, because we were 226.
Yes,
but in 326, evidently, she has made her presence known and said something about being a nurse. To like the housekeeping.
Yeah, and she also likes things neat and cleaned up too. So she's made beds and stacked up shoes and things like that, according to some of the things I read about her.
Well, that's very
very nice of her. Yes,
that sounds very
nursey. Yes. Once a nurse, always a nurse,
taking
right?
care of business.
Yes.
Theodora.
So the 3rd floor was really interesting because of that, and
all of the. Oh, you're probably going to get into that.
No, go ahead. What?
Oh no, that she had 2 of those. What do you call those? EV.
I forgot about that part. Okay, so the whole time she had 2 of the EMF readers and or EMF meters, and so we got some on our phones and started using them. And throughout the tour, we would get higher signals when we were near radiators. There were these old radiators in just about every hallway, but also in the Michael room, which we'll talk about in a minute. But the radiators were everywhere. And anytime you would put an EMF reader near, like I'm putting it near your computer right now.
And it clicks.
Yeah, and you can hear it. It's going all the way to,
So this, near the computer, it's going up to like in the 60s.
Yeah.
On the radiator, it was going into the hundreds.
Yes. Yes. And so she was telling the kids to put her EMF readers over there next to the radiator, and they would go crazy, which they do. And we still, I know I taught science for a long time, but I'm still not exactly sure why it was the radiators. I think it's probably some material that the radiators are made out of that is causing them to have such high EMF reads or whatever. So I thought that was really interesting.
Okay, so I did Google it because I meant to do this before, but it says that the radiators kind of can act as like antennas, kind of taking on a lot of magnetic energy.
Yes.
So,
yes.
And so in one hallway alone, there was probably what, 1, 2, there's probably like
at least 3.
At least 3. And then they've got the side hallways off of that. So I would say on a floor, any floor could have 5.
Mm-hmm.
And they're big. They're big radiators.
Big, bulky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Old.
Yeah. So that was interesting, and we felt like maybe some of the EMF vibes people are getting are from that. Not to discount the ghost stories,
we're not trying to debunk that.
But science is science.
Well, and also they do say that those EMFs can make you feel sick and blah blah, and a lot of people
get sick on the tour.
Yes.
And one of the places she said they get sick, it was this doorway on the 3rd floor, but there was a radiator nearby. So that's interesting. That's very interesting.
So I feel like if we were on the Ghost Hunters show, that we'd be like, debunk.
Yeah, probably so.
Radiators.
Well, and I hate that I'm such I'm such a meh, but
I do think there's definitely spiritual activity going on, but I think and I will say, so the Crescent is old. I mean, and it's built on a hill.
Yeah.
And it is very, when you are walking down those hallways, it is very uneven.
Right.
So you do get that sense of, I got dizzy. It makes you dizzy when you're, it's kind of like a optical illusion going on with the floors and the angles. So when you cross that with that EMF, with the radiators putting out that much, because that's a lot.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. I'm going back through some of these pictures, and there was another female ghost that she talked about, and I'm trying to remember if she was a student or...
Well, she didn't give a name. She only named that Theodora. But in episode 1, we did talk about the student that allegedly...
That fell, that's right, that fell off the balcony.
Because she was allegedly pregnant with the man teacher's baby. And she was pushed.
Yeah. Oh. I started watching that show, what is it, with Viola Davis, How to Get Away with Murder. I'd never seen that show. Scott and I started binging that yesterday. Speaking of which, the first season's all about something similar. But that's a pretty interesting show. Just segue there.
Check that out.
Yeah. Okay, so on the 2nd floor, a lot of the action was on the 2nd floor. She talked for a while about a little boy named Brecky. And that's a kind of a sad story. You can see, or you could see, Brecky. People have said they've seen Brecky running up and down the hall. And how old did she say it was? About 4? Does that sound right?
I think about
2 to
6.
4. Oh, okay. Okay. And, she had a couple of interesting tales regarding Brecky and people that had visited the hotel. And, that's an interesting name, too. I thought that was a cute little name for a little boy.
And did she tell a story of, like, another child?
Another child named Brecky that came there. Yes. And that was kind of creepy. Yeah. And, I don't remember anything specifically that stands out about the Brecky stories, except anytime you have a kid that's a ghost, it scares the crap out of me. If there's one thing I can't stand on horror movies, it's creepy little ghost children,
That's true. And we were right down, like, we were in the same side hall as Brecky's room was, so...
Yes, and here's a photo. I'm looking at the photo from Brecky here. Yeah, he looks about 4 or 5, something like that. So
he's a cute.
Yeah.
Well, I think you post that, or
I didn't post this one. I'll post this one Monday.
Yeah, Amber will be posting pictures along with this episode.
Yeah, I saved some of the ghost tour photos because I knew we were going to be kind of discussing it. So Brecky, there's stories about him online. She gave us a couple of interesting tidbits about him. We didn't spend a lot of time on him, and then we moved on to what everybody was kind of waiting for, which was the Michael stories. Now, she has a picture, well, she had several pictures of Michael that she was showing, and to me, he looks like the middle Hanson boy. So, I'm sorry, but he just looks
the
like
middle Hanson boy.
He just looks like he belongs in the Hanson family.
Does he look like he's saying ba?
Yeah, the whole time, especially the one that's like the computer generated like photo of him that she was showing.
Yeah.
I was like, no, that's one of the Hanson boys. So
that's not Michael.
That's not Michael
from the 1800s.
Yeah.
So,
that's a member of the Mbop group. But she did spend a lot of time talking about Michael and Room 218 and how much people have witnessed or claim to have seen whatever in that area.
Are you going to get, so Michael was a little bit, you talked about, so-called Baker being, a little bit of a charlatan.
Mm-hmm.
I think Michael was. Allegedly, she said that he fell to his death because he was trying to get, he was flirting with a woman. But the claims, if you stay in that room, is that he will, watch you in the shower and he loves women.
That's not a charlatan. That's a pervert.
Whatever. He's a pervert then. And he evidently will pull back
the curtain?
Yes, the shower curtain.
Gross.
So
Don't be pervy, Michael.
I will say, I got sick, and are you going to get to that? You're going to get to that about us going in the room, but I got sick in there.
In Michael's room?
Yes, but
there was already a radiator. There was a big radiator in his room.
And it's a small room.
It is a tiny room. And so
compared to others, yeah.
Yes, so there was the radiator in the room. And, I took pictures in there. Well, first, let's tell everybody how we got into that room. Yes.
Start there.
So
This was after the tour,
This was after the tour, and we'll kind of segue back to the tour later because, we were in the morgue, and they're going to want to hear about the morgue stuff. But when we were back from the tour, we went back up to our floor, which was the second floor. We noticed a woman in the room who was taking pictures, and she had a lot of electronic equipment.
The hall.
In the hallway. She had EMF readers. She had a video set up, all the things. So we knew what she was doing. She was
legit.
serious about it.
And she had been at the psychic development.
Yes. I didn't see her, so I didn't know she had been there too. So we go by and we just ask her what she's doing because that's what Lisa and I do. We're like, hey, what you doing?
We just make friends.
Yes. So she invited us in her room, and we were like, oh wow. And I'm not sure how they felt about her letting people come in and sing because, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was still her room, she said, and she paid for it, And I agree with that.
Yeah.
So we went in there, and it was a nice room. They've kept it really nice and neat, and there's pictures of Michael everywhere. And I will tell you this, if I was sleeping in that room with all the pictures of him on the wall, now that's enough to freak you out.
And him watching you sleep.
Yeah, and that part too.
And thinking
but
about
just those pictures of him looking like Hanson all over the wall was enough to freak me out.
But at least he didn't look like Manson.
Yeah, I would rather him look like a Hanson singer than Charles Manson. So she was really sweet, and she explained to us about what she had, thought about the room in the past and how she was coming back to truly catch something. Mm-hmm. And we did not get her name or her contact information, so we don't know if she caught anything on video or not.
I gave her one of our cards.
Okay. Well, maybe she's listening, and if she is, sorry we didn't catch her name.
Yes,
but email us and tell us what happened that night.
So she was telling us about her daughter's experience.
Yes, that's what it was.
Tell them about the drawers.
Yeah, so supposedly the doors or the drawers would keep opening and shutting, and
these are heavy.
They're heavy drawers. So she was going to investigate the drawers too, and she was like, "I'm serious." She was like Scooby and Shaggy in it, like she was like in there to figure out what was going on in that room. And I'm just sitting there the whole time.
The stuff.
She had all the stuff, and I'm sitting here going, "It's the radiator! It's the radiator!" I mean, I just was like so like.
I feel like the radiator definitely made me feel sick in there, so it gives you that feeling. But I don't think that radiator opened those drawers. I think
no, you're right about that.
Or he's definitely, the radiator can't be looking at you in the shower.
Gross.
Now, remember they did you get a picture of the picture that they got of Michael?
Oh, I got every picture of Michael.
Because they did, like, one of the...
And I'll do a separate post if you want, just on the Michael stuff.
The Michael stuff is very interesting because one guest actually caught, I mean, it was very clearly a man in the reflection of the TV, and it was not, not the person taking the picture. It was creepy. I will say that one was creepy.
Yeah.
That's, so Amber will post.
Yeah, I'll post all of those. Yes. Okay, so sorry we kind of did a bird walk and started talking about after the tour. Yeah. But, we're on the second floor, so I thought we would tell that story. Yeah. So after the second floor with Brecky and Michael, we went to the first floor and kind of went through there. She talked about the cats. She talked about...
Before that, on the second floor, she did get into... the Dr. John Ellis, so he was just like the physician. Yes. Yeah. And remember, so they have a room that says it's his office. I guess it was his office back in the day. I believe it's a working, room now that you can stay in. But she said to see if you could smell his cigar. Right. And it's kind of like, and I could. You couldn't smell anything. No. I could smell. It's like a cherry.
But I'm such a doubter. I'm just I couldn't smell anything.
But Daryl, like when people walk in my house, I can tell them what they ate for lunch. Like I really do have a good smeller. So.
Yeah. You do. That's true. So on the first floor, of course, we have the crystal dining room, which we didn't go in there, but, that's all what's, on the first floor. So crystal dining room, and then the terrace area and the, what was the area we were in for the psychic development meeting called?
So I'm trying to think. It's the Crescent Observatory.
It's the observatory. Right. It's all very Clue. It's like the game of Clue. It's like they should do something like that. They should make a Clue game. Well, no, they should make a Clue game, but it's Eureka's Crescent Clue game. Yeah. So yeah, because everything had these fancy pants names like the observatory and the crystal dining room and the spa. Observatory. Yes. But we didn't stay on the first floor long because it was Grand Central Station. That's a very, very, that's a very busy time of day. Yeah. I noticed that when we got there about 2 or 3, it wasn't that busy, but by the time you hit about 5 or 6 till about 9 o'clock, it was Grand Central Station because it was hopping. People were, that were guests were going in and out, and then you had people coming in for the ghost tours. Then you had people that were going in just to eat at the Sky Bar up at the top floor. So it was, and then you had people coming that were going downstairs outside to do the music show down there. So it really there was a lot going on.
And it was a Saturday night.
So it was a Saturday night, so probably the busiest night.
And it was glorious weather.
Oh, it was wonderful. It was absolutely perfect weather. So we went outside and then went around to the back to the morgue. And, like I said, I've done this tour before. I've been in the morgue before. But this tour, I think, had a lot more interesting aspects to it. And the biggest part of that feeling, I think, came from the vials and the bottles and the stuff that has been discovered since the last time I took the tour. Now, if you go back to episode 2 of this trilogy, we started out talking about that archaeological find from 2019 when people that were digging in the backyard of the Crescent accidentally found bottles with lots of weird things in them, and they had been buried. And so it was all dug up, which actually there's a few that are still in the ground, and we'll get into that.
Yeah, they had a lot. Yeah, they have it all like boxed in. Oh, it's very cool in the back.
Yes, so. But they got all the bottles they could that looked like they could put them on a shelf, and they're all in the morgue now. So these are bottles with strange concoctions. There are things that definitely contain human parts or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Like
just
tissues,
things like that. I mean, I didn't see any like organs. Did you? I didn't see
No,
any.
I think they thought that he had taken out
Samples, tissue samples, probably
of tumors,
yeah,
and such.
things like that, and then probably some of his own concoctions and things that he had made. But this is Dr. Baker. But they were all there on a big, tall, large, long wooden shelf or wooden bookcase. And there was glass in front of it, as there should be, because people didn't need to touch that stuff because it was probably toxic. Yeah. But you could go in there and you could see what was what he had used in the past. Now the morgue has always been kind of a creep show because that bodies were probably were taken in there, and we do know that at least 40 people died during this time. So if you look at it in some perspectives are that he really was kind of like a serial killer because he wasn't helping these people. He was gaining from them financially, and he was basically either watching them die or helping them die. Now, a lot of them he sent home so they could die on their own and wouldn't die at the hotel, but there were 40 people that did pass away. And if you are an ancestry guru like I am, you can see those death records. And I've printed out some, and eventually I'm going to print them all out and kind of look at them a little more closely. And that may be something I do in a future episode. But it's just interesting to note that that's probably where all or most of those bodies went, was down there in that morgue. And like we said earlier, they were probably gurneyed down there in the middle of the night because he wanted well people to be in the common areas. He would even hire well people to be in the hotel so people would think that you were coming there to get better. So, I mean, it's very sad stuff. And to hang out and play tennis and all that, which the truth was not that. So, yeah, the morgue was very interesting, and they showed us a freezer area that they felt might have contained remains of people, and that was really sad. I don't know if I saw that the first tour I took because I don't really remember that. Maybe I did. I don't know. But
I had pink eyes, so I don't remember.
You don't remember anything. So yeah, I loved the whole tour. Mm-hmm. It was very interesting. It ended in the morgue, as it probably should have. There was a really creepy picture of him, and they changed the lighting from the last time I was there. Yeah. So they have a whole new lighting concept that I think makes it even creepier. And the photos I'll post, or did post, I posted a lot from the morgue. You can see that new lighting concept that they've constructed down there. So it does give it that whole vibe, plus all the potions and concoctions and bottles.
And they had a creepy old wheelchair with a skeleton hanging out.
They did have that too. They did.
And just big pictures of him and his creepiness. And you know what? They said that he was handsome.
Yeah, maybe. I think they said when he was younger, he was kind of a ladies' man. He was kind of handsome. And
they did go into his girlfriend.
Oh, that's right. And I did look for her too. And she actually was from Laredo, Texas. And she was his trusted assistant. She may have been a girlfriend too. I don't know. But there is some lawsuits that you can look up online, some older lawsuits in regards to Baker and things that happened when he was arrested and after. And, all of those are records you can find online. And this is, of course, the, after he was jailed for mail fraud. He was never jailed for killing people, as he probably should have been, but they did get him on mail fraud. Yes.
Yeah, he was getting soliciting because he solicited so much, money through the mail. So.
Yes, and so if you're interested in researching all that, there is a lot of case files that are available online regarding the after effects or the fallout from the Baker Hospital. I mean, he tried to say at one point that, I don't even own that, I mean, he was
a liar.
He was. I mean, my gosh.
Yeah. So we'll try to post a couple of those things, but yeah, he was wild, and so the basement area is all about him and his creepiness.
Yeah.
But then you exit into the spa.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, it's like you go from the morgue to the spa. Yeah.
Yes, and so back when the Crescent was built, they had a 2-lane bowling alley, and so we did. I wanted to see that, and so we did go in there. Did we? That was before we left, right?
Yeah, we saw the actual bowling alley, which is now a hair salon in the spa.
Like it's just like, but you can see of course, the floor is magnificent. Just
a magnificent bowling alley.
It is
floor. Wow, flushable toilets. Yeah, it's yeah.
I mean, it's just awesome. Like the floor looks pristine, and then it's being used. It's basically the lanes are now the salon. So.
Oh, speaking of flushable toilets, that's an inside joke. I made her that night. She really didn't care what we watched, which that is an enigma, if anything is, because you always want to pick.
Yeah.
But so she let me pick, so I made her watch Mac and Me, this old horrible movie from the 80s, and it was redone by what's it called? Mystery Science Theater.
Yes.
Yeah.
I said I'll only watch it if it's that.
It was so funny.
It was funny.
Yeah, so we watched that, and there's a line, flushable toilets, that I just say constantly. Okay, so that's all I have.
You can watch that on Netflix.
You can watch Mac and Me on Netflix. It's well worth your time.
Yeah.
Not the real Mac and Me, the one that Mystery Science Theater does.
It's funny.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, so the ghost tour, definitely, if you're in Eureka, even if you're not staying at the Crescent, check that out. And then you get to go all throughout the Crescent. So it's amazing. So, well, now we're gonna talk a little bit about the Ronix, and I think I'm saying that correctly. I'm sure someone will.
Someone will correct you.
They'll tell me. So.
And they'll feel so good about it too. When they correct us, sometimes they just feel so pleased with themselves, and we're just like, okay.
So, thank you. Well, we love it. So just tell us what we say wrong. I appreciate that.
Yeah, me too.
Epitome.
I still think that should be a shirt. I mean, I just let you say it because I was so tired that day. I was like, okay. I guess that's a new way to say it.
I think we did 2 episodes.
With epitome?
Anyway,
right.
Yeah, that was funny. So, okay. So the Ronix, we've discussed everything about them. There was a few little tidbits that were interesting to me, but
little tittles.
A few little tittles. Like that cat that
Tittles
didn't quite make it.
I wish I'd named Parker Tittles, just so I could say Tittles every day. Anyway, go ahead.
I like it. Or Toodles. Tittles. Toodles. Okay, so they, of course, came along in 1997, and they still own it, or she does. So they have really been instrumental, of course, in restoring the Crescent. So it's said that they brought the Crescent into their second golden age. So their first golden age was, of course, the first 15, 20 years that the hotel was open. But now it truly is in its Renaissance. It is very nice. So the Ronix adhered to a few, like they had a creed, which had 4 parts. So the first one, and I really think this embodies what Amber was talking about with how you feel at the hotel. But 1 was to create lifetime memories. 2 was to build the individual. 3 was to protect the irreplaceable. So as in restoration, and they just love history.
And 4 was to get a Ouija board. No,
4 was to get Ouija boards, but not laminated. But no, 4 was to be community minded, and so they have really done this, and I really feel like they've embodied that into their employees.
Oh gosh, yes. I mean, I'm like bravo. Well, I teach young adults, and just to see them so happy, and just I love that. I love that they are so good to their employees, that they are happy and willing to serve. I mean, they picked some good kids.
They did. I mean, everybody. Yeah, and they're young, and probably because we could be their mothers, but they looked young. But anyway, so the Ronix did purchase the Basin Park Hotel, which I feel like will be a whole nother topic for a whole nother episode, and we will go stay there.
I love the Basin Park area. It's right downtown.
Amber traipsed through that whole area, guys, and I had to sit in
She
the car
followed me
and
around
wait.
in her vehicle while I walked around downtown.
I did, and I'll admit it. I was tired, and she was traipsing. So anyway, so they also built those treetop cottages.
Mm-hmm.
So
which are gorgeous,
and they have expanded the hotel situation with more. Like they have some, you have the rooms at the Crescent that you can rent. And then you do have the penthouse floor, that was what was on the 5th floor. Those penthouse rooms.
Yes.
And they did tell me, one of the front desk people said that they kind of try to renovate 5 rooms a year.
Mm-hmm.
And so they actually have recently redone one of those penthouse rooms, and they said it's amazing.
I bet.
So just
if we
FYI,
ever
people,
run into money, I want to stay in one of those.
If we ever run into money, I want to stay at that Arlington room, the sticky horseman room.
I don't.
Oh my
Did
goodness.
you say the sticky horseman?
Whatever his name is.
What?
The sticky Stagey Henderson room. I don't even know the name. Remember, it's like $800.
Yes, I know. It is named after the horse, and the name escapes me now.
I know.
So,
I can't think of it, so I'm making stuff up. But yes, so we will do that if we run into some money.
Yes,
we'll do all that. But the Ronix, I will say, I'm going to talk about this tragedy because it was on their website. Okay, I wouldn't normally talk about a tragedy, but I feel like they seem to be an open book, and they were the ones. So before the Ronix, the paranormal was happening, but no one was talking about it. We kind of talked about this in the like, people did not want to discuss scary things happening at the hotel because they thought that people wouldn't want to stay there.
Yeah, it would distract from the audience, the people coming in and staying.
Yes, and money. They just was like, oh, we don't want to scare
So
people.
if it would detract from visitors, they would have to close. So they're like, let's not talk about it.
Yes, but the Ronix came in and were like, let's talk about it. Like, if it happened here, let's talk about it. So they were very open, and I feel like they're very open. And this is sad, so just FYI.
FYI. I'm not even sure what you're about to say, 'cause I'm a little nervous.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so in 2009, Marty Ronick passed away after a tragic car accident.
Oh, no.
Along with his beloved Irish setter.
Oh, no.
Now, what this doesn't say, so this, if you go to find a grave, because I wanted to look at his obituary and such, he was 68 when this happened. And what was going on was, it was a Thursday night. It was a 2-vehicle accident in Iowa. So he was pronounced dead at the scene. And Elise, Ronick's wife, who now, is the sole owner, she was driving.
Yeah.
And so she was in the accident as well. She recovered. She had a severely broken arm, and they airlifted her out. So it was a bad accident.
Oh, bless her.
And the bad part is, so evidently the sheriff's office reported that, so they were driving a van. They were going there to pick up, if you'll notice at the Crescent, they have those old-timey, like, music machines.
Yes.
I'll call them music machines because they're antique mechanical music machines.
Yes.
So they were going to pick one up. That's why they were there. They had their van, and evidently I don't know what was going on. I don't know if it was the weather or if she was tired, but she ran a stop sign. And so she ended up hitting another vehicle. So all of those people were airlifted. The people were driving their grandchildren. So they had like several people in there, but they were all airlifted out. So the only person that passed away was Marty. Isn't that horrible?
Yeah.
So that is absolutely tragic. But
now, were they getting one of those large organ things that Baker had invented? Because wasn't he from Iowa?
He was from Iowa, so I don't think it was. It does say that this mechanical music machine was added to their collection that is featured at the Giovanni Chapel in Eureka.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. They do have one of the machines that Baker invented up in that faculty room where the tour
I remember
starts.
seeing that. Yeah.
So if you go on the tour, you can see that. And then downstairs in the lobby, they have some of these mechanical music, makers. So that was just, but another important tidbit about the Ronix, because they're very about preservation. And so they actually donated 1,200 acres of prime land around the Buffalo National River to the Nature Conservatory.
Conservatory.
So
nice.
That was a big to-do.
Yeah, that's huge.
So they are very, they're animal lovers, they're music lovers, they're antique lovers. I'm just amazed with everything that they've done and continue to do, and I'm so glad Elise is able to continue things for Marty. And I'm so sad for her to lose her Marty and their dog.
Yeah.
So anywho, but that was a tidbit. I do want to talk about something very important to me. Ghost hunters. Oh, we will end on the pizza.
Okay.
But, so ghost hunters. So before I had Elle, like I would lay on the couch after work and watch Ghost Hunters, like endlessly. It was on Sci-Fi Channel, and I just loved it. I loved everything, and I really loved it because they were there to debunk. I really loved it, and it was Grant and Jason. And, they were plumbers by day. Ghost hunting at night.
That's a good concept right there.
I know, it is. I mean, they can fix it. So they knew about houses. They knew about the plumbing. And they were really skeptical. Like, as much as a belief. Like, I feel like I'm like them. I believe, but I'm skeptical. So, the radiator business and all that. So, in 2007, Ghost Hunters traveled to the Crescent and, filmed one of their shows. So while Jason and Grant, I'm gonna read this. This was so interesting to me, and I actually watched this episode back in the day, of course, because I watched them all. But that was when I first got, like, what do you call that, DirecTV or maybe Dish. I had first gotten Dish, and you know how you could record everything. So Daryl would come home and he'd be like, "Why do you have 50, 100,000 of these ghost hunters?" Ghost hunters. So while Jason and Grant are on a plumbing job, so they were actually called, evidently, to do some plumbing. They were talking about how they were going to go to the Crescent. So, how they started off the show and they were working, they were actually doing a plumbing job for Roto-Rooters or whatever. So they were there. They were talking about going to the Crescent and how it had been a fake cancer treatment facility, and the basement was used as a morgue, and such. So, and they've got the doctor that roams the hallway. So the team headed to Arkansas. They check out the Crescent, and they meet Jack Moyer, who is the hotel's general manager, and also a person named Ken Fugate, who is a local historian. So Ken shows Jason and Grant the dining room where a man named Jacob waits for a woman to come to breakfast, and the office of Dr. Ellis. And so Dr. Ellis had practiced medicine for the hotel. He could be his own episode, I would think, too, but he's very interesting. He still has, like, Dr. Ellis's house there in Eureka. There's a lot to Dr. Ellis that, of course, we don't have time to get into today. But, you would see Dr. Ellis. It talks about how guests, and this is on the show, so it talks about guests in room 419 report waking up in the morning and seeing their clothes packed against the door.
They're like, "We're ready for you to leave.
Get on out." The team also visits the morgue where autopsies were performed, allegedly, when cancer patients were at the hotel. And again, this is all talked about in the show. The team sets up. So Dustin, he's one of the team members. He goes into Grant's room. So Grant was actually going to stay in room 419. And so he notices his computer's propped up against the door. So Grant tells Dustin he left it by the TV. So Dustin, moves it back and sets up a camera to watch this. So Dave and Steve, do you remember Dave and Steve?
Dave and Steve,
and Donna and Dustin, I don't remember Donna. Oh, yes, I do. They get high EMF readings when investigating rooms 2500 and 419. Probably the radiators. But when Jason and Grant investigate the morgue, they see a figure in the thermal camera. So at first they wonder if it's, so I do remember this, they thought it was Grant's reflection. That's what they first thought it was. But after reviewing the footage and investigating, so they went back and investigated to see conclusively what it was, they could not conclude that it was Grant. So Jason and Grant later tried to recreate the whole experience, but they couldn't disprove what they saw on the camera. I mean, it was a full, and I saw it with my eyes. You can go back, it is I want to say it's season 2, episode 13 of Ghost Hunter. So you can watch that episode. But it is so interesting. But I mean, you see a full on-screen
So
apparition.
I'm trying to find where you can stream Ghost
I
Hunters
think
now.
you can stream it actually on, it said Netflix or Prime.
Oh, okay.
So, but some of the seasons, it's hard to get,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you have to maybe purchase that certain season, but it is season 2. So it was early. So during the team's investigation, Ken told Jason and Grant that there's paranormal activity in actually Dr. Ellis's house. So they were called over to investigate Dr. Ellis's house. So again, that's why I'm talking about needing a whole nother thing. But Grant, and Jason literally talk about this was like the holy grail of all of their episodes. Like, this was a big episode for them when you talk about ghost hunters in general.
Right.
This episode is one of their highly acclaimed ones. So, really, this incident in 2007 brought the Crescent to a national situation.
Oh, I remember when that happened.
Mm-hmm. So it did bring them a lot of notoriety going on there. And so...
yeah, that makes me want to go back and watch that again.
So ever since that point, go watch that. Ever since... and you can find clips of it on the YouTube. You can but it's just clips. But, so since that time period... have you watched the show Ghost Adventures? Do you know that one?
I know it, but I haven't really watched it.
I'm not a fan. They are not debunking. They are just all in. They are, it's like a bunch of frat boys running around. They are like, and they curse a lot, so most of it's bleeped for some reason.
Oh, nice.
It's just, it reminds me of watching something, I don't know, like literally like... I don't know, toddlers running around trying to ghost hunt, but...
like Max ghost hunting?
Yes, it feels a little, I don't know, and sorry if I'm hurting anyone's feelings about Ghost Adventures.
Yeah, to each their own.
I mean, I love ghost hunters, but yeah, to each their own. But the Travel Channel has also done a show. I believe the Ghost Adventures guys went in 2019. So they have a show in 2019, and then the Travel Channel did a show on the Crescent as well. So just FYI, you can Google and watch those episodes.
Yeah, I'm going to do that because I haven't seen any of those in a long time.
Yeah.
You'd think I would watch them before, but given my home situation and how I never have time to watch anything but Bluey.
Bluey. I like Bluey.
I do too. I'm emotionally invested in Bluey by this point.
Me too.
Yeah.
I found out last year, so when I was subbing, I found out the kids like Bluey.
It's a good show.
And I'll if it's a Friday, they have nothing to do, I'll put it on.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a good show. But yeah, so that in a nutshell. I will say, we need to talk about the pizza.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about it. So we're going to round this out. And do you have more?
I don't have anything else. Pizza's good to end on. I will say that it was delicious. It was one of the best I've ever had. Now, the best I've ever had in Arkansas is Ariana's. Hands down, that's always my pick.
Uh-huh.
But this is probably a good top 5 choice.
It's good. I mean, I love some pizza. I had some really good pizza. I love Shotgun Dan's.
I do like that. And then what's the one across from the horse races?
Oh gosh, Rocky's Corner.
Rocky's and Ariana's best in Central Arkansas. I will say that the Sky Bar is one of the best I've had. In northern Arkansas.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree. Mm-hmm. I feel that's that deep. We need to try DeLuca's. I hear they have the best in Hot Springs.
I think I've been there.
I need to try that. Anywho, so after our tour, we had actually made reservations. The Sky Bar, like Amber was hopping. And
like I was hopping? You said the Sky Bar like Amber was hopping.
Yes.
I never hop.
Amber falls. She shuffles.
Like my mom.
You shuffle.
My mom and I, we don't walk, we shuffle. Anyway, go ahead.
You do. Sorry, I'm imagining you shuffling now. So we knew it was busy, so we put our name down. Actually, before we got started, because Amber was like, "Put our name down." And so I was like, okay.
Starving.
We were hungry. We were very hungry.
We were in there listening to psychics and not eating, and so I was starving.
I will say, in the psychic development meeting, I think the hotel they had gotten some refreshments.
Yeah, there was brownies.
And Amber had gotten me some brownies, and they were the best little brownies I've probably ever had.
I didn't get a brownie because I don't eat sugar hardly anymore.
You had coffee.
Yeah,
I had brownies. Yeah. But we were hungry, and so by the time the tour was over, they called us, and our table was ready. So The Sky Bar is on the 4th floor, and you can actually, so you can go to the Sky Bar. You can actually order the pizza to be delivered to you from the Sky Bar in Eureka.
Yep.
I did not know that. And you can have it delivered to your room.
Yep. I noticed people running with pizzas the whole time we were in the tour.
I know. I was like, can we follow that? I think at one point we were like going to follow one.
Yeah.
We're going to follow that pizza. But anyway.
So we should have had pizza delivered to us while we were on the tour. Yeah.
Oh, that would have been fun. That would have been funny if we were eating pizza on the tour.
Yeah, and very much us.
Yeah, it would have been us.
Yeah.
It would have been like, Lisa and Andy on a ghost tour of pizza. That's pretty right. But we were so hungry. So we ate there in the Sky Bar. You can actually get a table on the outside. That would have been magical, but a little bit scary. So the situation when you're sitting outside, I mean, it's high up. I mean, if you're not into heights.
Yeah.
And I'm really not. You're not either.
I don't do heights very often.
We might get a picture of us on a Ferris wheel today, maybe.
Maybe. If it works, if our timing works out for the fair this afternoon.
Because you're going this afternoon, I'm going more. We might cross paths. But anywho, so long story short, the pizza is amazing. The place is amazing.
Yes.
Everything was amazing. We will be back for sure. And it's definitely has a lot of history and a lot of haunted history. And
yes.
we will talk about that night. So Amber, I'm going to tell on you a little bit. You guys all know I get up in the night. So I think it was about 2 or 3, I got up and Amber goes, "Don't leave me."
Yeah. And that was in between snoring so loud I was sucking in the drapes. Again. Yes.
And you go, so she says, "Don't leave me." So I'm like, "I'm right here, Amber."
I was really...
And then I could hear her snoring, so I did leave.
Yeah. Well, I was really just kind of freaked out, even though, like I said, I had bad dreams all night. And I woke up at like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and heard a bouncing ball above my head. It was like somebody bouncing a basketball on the 3rd floor.
Yeah.
Now, it was a full house, and there was someone staying right above us, but it was odd. I did hear a bouncing basketball. And like even my husband, his ears perked up when I said that. He goes, what do you mean? And because he watches all that Ghost Hunter stuff too. And I'm like, I don't know. It was like somebody playing basketball above my head, but very quietly, softly. Ba-bump, 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 ba-bump. That was the pace. It wasn't bump, 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 like somebody, like my kids play basketball in the house all the time. It wasn't that. It was somebody bouncing a ball. It was definitely something small hitting the floor above my head.
So, with that conclusion,
yes,
we had a haunted experience.
I mean, I guess if you want to call it, if you want to call my bad dreams and a bouncing ball a haunted experience.
But I did go out in the hallway. It was freaky at 3 or so in the morning. Of course, I did my walking like I do in my PJs, and everything was quiet. Except now, I will say I heard noises at the end of the hallway, and we were on the 2nd floor. But there's also an ice machine. There's the elevator. Now, the elevator wasn't moving, and the place was pretty quiet. I mean, everybody was in bed by then.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely something. That's all I'm gonna say. I feel like it's got some stuff going on.
I mean, it was a very comfortable bed. The room was nice and cool. Well,
and we had a double room. Well, you weren't.
I wasn't cool enough, which is weird because I was right by the air conditioner, so I was getting some little hot flashes, which could be one thing or another. Who knows what that's?
It could be life.
It could be the moment I'm at in my life. But yeah, I kept getting hot, like sensations of being hot. So that happened. And then, yes, every time you would try to leave, I would wake up and be like, don't leave me.
Just leave me. And I'm like, bye.
Yeah.
And as soon as I could hear her snoring, I was like, she's asleep.
Yeah.
Bye. I left the door open though. I was right.
Oh, thanks.
I was in the vicinity. I didn't leave you. It's not like I left the floor. So.
Oh my gosh.
But it was an awesome experience. The Crescent, I'll quote it as haunted. You can quote me on that.
Yeah, I'll say maybe. I mean, I did have the unexplained experience. So yeah, I mean, I would like to do some more research on the area. And, maybe in the spring do another episode. I would like to know more. Yeah. So I'm interested. I'm intrigued by everything that's going on up in this tiny little mountain town.
And maybe we'll just discuss Ozzy some more.
Yeah, maybe so.
No. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
So, yeah.
that's it.
Well, I will say pod business real fast. So please go purchase. We've got our live show in February. We've had several purchase tickets. We really hope to sell out before February. So just FYI, if you want to go to the show, we do plan on filling that Rialto Theater. We're going to do the haunted White County Courthouse, and we're going to talk about tidbits about
and tittles
and tittles and toddles, and so also please check out all of our stuff on Instagram, Facebook. Go buy some merch. You can go to our website, and yeah, just do all the things. Please rate, review, and follow us, and join us on the Patreon and. Just
good
everything.
grief.
Yeah,
that's
just
a lot.
Everything, guys.
Yeah. Okie dokie. All right. Well, that's all we have. Y'all have an awesome day.
Love
Bye.
you.
Love you. Bye.